So the dumbest bill in America is banning self-service gasoline stations. Yeah, you heard that. Banning your right to self-serve gas. When you pull up, you get out of your car, you walk over to the gasoline pump, you put your credit card in, it gets approved, you take the gas pump off, and then you put it inside your car, you fill up that would be banned. In the state of Illinois, House Bill 4571, introduced by Illinois State Representative, this is a state representative, Camille Lilly, Democrat from Chicago, of course, has House Bill 4571 to ban your ability to pump your own gas. This is really stupid, of course, but I want you to hear it from Camille Lilly herself. Here's her justification for her bill. Here's the clip.
She was often hearing about the carjacking, those kinds of things. And so she was always nervous about going in, paying for her gas, and leaving her children in the car by themselves. And she was like, wait a minute, why do I have to get out and pump gas? And in her community, it became a challenge for her. So she said, can we get the gas attendants everywhere? Because some stations do have gas attendants, but it's not required.
So this is paternalism at its worst, right? Well, she couldn't figure out, with her children in the car, she couldn't figure out how to turn the car off, maybe take the keys with her, then walk around and pump her own gas, because that was difficult. Really? I mean, what is wrong with these people? And by these people, I want everybody to be clear, anyone who thinks that they're too lazy or they're too special, that they shouldn't be able to pump their own gas. I'm not talking about people that are developmentally disabled or have some sort of handicap, okay? Let's make this clear, right? I'm talking about anyone who's like, I just don't feel like doing it. Someone else should do it for me. Warren, throwing this to you.
So most states have special needs accommodations at gas stations. They have a button you can push or blow the horn or something, and somebody will come out and take care of you if you truly need the assistance. What this bill is doing is modeling after New Jersey. They want extra people working at service stations. Well, service stations have all these ridiculous employment mandates, paid sick leave, unemployment insurance, all these government mandates that have to be covered.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, you're cutting into the service station owner's profits. You're already charging a high sum. I'm sure Illinois has borders just like Maryland. People drive over the borders all the time to get their gas.
Yes,
maybe not in Chicago, but in a big part of the state that's rural, between the taxes and everything else, they're going to drive over the line to self-serve and get the cheapest price. That's what this comes down to. And this is a mandate to make Illinois' gasoline purchasers' gas more expensive.
And you're right, there is a button, and apparently in Illinois, some service stations, not all, because it's not required universally, have a button that you can push if you need assistance. That is to say, someone, to pump your gas. Problem is, you still got to get out of the car to push the button, okay? So, quite frankly, if you're capable of getting out of the car and pushing a button, you're probably capable of pumping your own gas. But you know what? We used to live in a society and a country where when you identified individuals who needed that level of assistance, they didn't even go to the gas station to begin with. Someone would drive them there and fill their car up. Or someone would drive with them and fill their car up. Or someone would just take their car for them and fill their car up with gasoline. But no, now we need a paternalistic society in Illinois, according to Camille Lilly, the Democrat from Chicago. And here's a clip of the public's reaction in Illinois to State Representative Camille Lilly's bill. And you have to listen to at the end of this, because this is a news media talking and then interviewing somebody, and then at the end telling you how high their taxes are on gasoline already, some of the highest in the nation. And here's the clip.
I think it's stupid. I mean, it would create jobs for the community, but at the same end, it's going to create delays for people who are trying to get their gas and get on their way.
Something that you've been capable of doing thus far in your life?
Yes. I've done it for many, many years by myself with no issues.
The industry is opposed to. Director of the State Association for Convenience Stores and Petroleum Marketers, Josh Sharp, says drivers are focused on one thing: price. Already, Illinois drivers are paying more at the pump. The state tax on motor fuel doubled this summer to 38 cents a gallon. That's not including the sales tax or local taxes. On average, he says the gas tax burden in Illinois is 52 cents a gallon, one of the highest in the nation.
52 cents a gallon just for the taxes in Illinois. So if you live in Illinois, if you live there and you're saying, why is our gas so expensive as compared to when I cross the border into Indiana or some of the other states that Illinois border, Here's why. 52 cents a gallon on average. And do you think that a mandate from Representative Camille Lilly, who would say, now you have to hire a bunch of people to pump your gas for you because we're not going to allow you to do that, that's going to cost money, so it's going to make the gasoline even more expensive. Because one person in Chicago decided that this is what she wanted to do. Warren.
Well, another issue here I was just thinking of, let's say you do have low staff at your gas station, you're barely making a living, because a lot of people don't realize gas stations don't own their gas. They're given a rack price, and that price can change during the day. Whatever's in their tanks, the distributor, the person that brings in the gas, controls the price they sell it for.
Exactly.
So that could be the difference between 2 and 5 cents profit on a gallon can be huge for a dealer who doesn't make that much. Okay, so one of the things you're doing is putting a labor mandate on them. It's going to cost them more. It might eat into their profits. But the second thing is, if they try to make it with the 1 or 2 attendants that they have, this is an easy setup for crime.
Oh, yes.
You get that person to leave the booth they're in to come out and pump the gas. Somebody else can easily break in while they're pumping gas or hold them up or whatever. And it's just unworkable, in my opinion, considering the amount of crime that goes on in places like Chicago.
Absolutely. And you know what? When I was a kid, my father bought an Esso gas station. Esso, that's the precursor to Exxon. And my father bought the gas station, and 6 months later, after he bought it, there was the Arab oil embargo to the United States, and there were hundreds of cars in line waiting to get gasoline because of the fact that gasoline was being rationed. And at that time, there was no self-serve whatsoever. It did not exist as a concept. And so I was allowed, because it was my father's gas station, I used to pump gas, not just then during the crisis in the 70s, but also afterwards. And I enjoyed it because I would check people's oil, I would wash their windows, and they would usually tip me. I loved that, all right? So there was no self-service then. But what's different is government has decided throughout the 50 states, not just some, but all of them, including the federal government, that they're going to take an increased share of taxes from the citizens of the United States, making gasoline so expensive that the gas stations had to go and offer self-serve to try to save people money so the gas stations didn't have to hire people, which would, as you said, Warren, increase the cost of the station, causing them to increase the cost of gasoline. But now we have a representative in Illinois that says, well, that 52 cents a tax per gallon, we're going to make you even spend more. And of course, she's going to be the first one to come back after her stupid bill passes, which, by the way, it hasn't, at least not yet. But she's going to be the first one to come back and say, oh, by the way, now we need subsidies for people in Chicago to be able to help them pay for the gasoline. Here's an idea. Why don't you get rid of the 52 cents a gallon? That might help. So last but not least, here's Representative Camille Lilly about how call buttons for disabled persons are not required in Illinois when you go to a gas station. We kind of talked about that a little bit, but this is just kind of the last clip in this episode. You got to listen to it because you can just kind of get an idea of how she thinks. And here's the clip.
Not every gas station has that. So someone that's disabled have to know where that gas station is, and that's the only gas station they can go to get that kind of service. It is important that we are looking at safety at the pump and convenience at the pump.
So yeah, there you go. We're looking at safety at the pump and convenience at the pump. You know what? If you don't like that gas station, go to another one. That's how it works. Find someone who, ask your family to help you. If you don't want to get out of the car and you're perfectly able-bodied and you can't get out of the car, I'm not even sure what to say at that point. I mean, final thoughts on this, Warren.
Feel-good legislation. It's making somebody feel good.
Exactly.
It's not solving a problem. It's just making somebody feel good.
Just make someone feel good, because it seems like in the United States, and we've talked about this before, it's all about banning on the Democrat side. Ban, 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 ban. So much for the freedom. So that's it for Mark and the Millennials. Thank you for joining Mark and the Millennials. This is Mark Fisher. I want to give a special thanks to Warren Miller, and I want to thank our Millennials for not being here. And also, I want to thank Christopher Hopkins, and of course, Adam Katura. And please check us out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and our website. See you next time.